Shaping a Better World podcast. Shared Ireland funding. Building resources to recognise and manage delirium. With Dr. Gary Mitchell and Dr. Amy Wong of Queen's University Belfast. In partnership with the University of Limerick.
My name is Gary Mitchell, and I'm a senior lecturer at the School of Nursing Midwifery at Queen's University Belfast. In my role, I work in both education and research. I'm really interested in working with nursing students to develop their nursing skills, but also interested in care of older people, dementia, frailty, delirium, and conditions of that nature. I was delighted to be part of a team that was awarded some funding recently from HEA in Ireland to develop an educational resource, an all-Ireland educational resource about delirium.
The origin of the project.
One of the students said to me, gosh, I haven't really encountered any education about delirium in my nursing programme. We don't know so much about it, and I don't really know how to provide care for this individual. So myself and some colleagues from the School of Nursing, Professor Christine Brown-Wilson being one, we looked at this and we developed an educational resource about delirium for our teaching. We did it as face-to-face education for Year 1 students to start with, and we worked with some people who had lived with delirium. We worked with some registered nurses, and we developed some scholarship around that. We did some education and did some research, and it turned out that students not only valued the resource about delirium, but they also improved their practice out in the field. And that was kind of the inspiration behind this funding application, because if we could make delirium education make a difference to nursing students at Queen's University in the first year of their programme, then maybe we could make a difference for other nursing students throughout Ireland and indeed other health professionals. So that was really the genesis of the idea.
The approach, co-design methodology.
My name is Dr. Amy Wong. I'm a lecturer at the School of Nursing and Midwifery at Queen's University Belfast, and I've been working with a number of projects using the co-design methodology to co-design resources with students or with health practitioners to improve their practices in both education and clinical practice and patient care.
The issue, understanding delirium.
People may see someone experiencing delirium and consider that the person maybe has dementia because there can be some similarities between the conditions. What we would say in delirium, though, is delirium is often acute, and it's something that happens very quickly and has a very rapid onset. So usually as a result of maybe a fall or some poor nutrition or an infection.
It's a small part of the Year 1 curriculum, but it's such an important topic for students to understand, particularly with the aging population, I should say. I guess it's just that it's a great opportunities to work with with my colleagues with the health background to develop health education resources with the students to increase to enhance their understanding about delirium. I will be involved in the whole project, but the particular role is to conduct the co-design workshops with the students to better understand from their perspective what they would like to know about delirium. Because a lot of the time with the educational resources, the educator or the clinical teachers design the resources by themselves. We thought what the students would like to know, or we thought what the students need to know, without involving students as a key stakeholder in the designing project, in the designing process. And I think it is very, very important to include the student voice so that we are developing resources that directly address their educational needs.
Of course, the beautiful thing about delirium education is that it is a condition that is preventable, and it is a condition that if it is picked up, can be reversible, which is brilliant. And that's sort of the heart of this, going to be the heart of this All-Ireland resource. I'm really excited. This project about delirium and developing this resource will begin later this year, around September time, and hopefully it'll run over the next 2 years. We're delighted to have strong collaboration from the University of Limerick and Professor Alice Coffey is going to be the co-lead of the project in Ireland. The first year, we're going to dedicate a lot of time into developing this resource. So we're going to look at the evidence base, look at the literature. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to find out what has been done in this area. Maybe there's been some research carried out in international countries or closer to home that can support us in what we're going to develop. The second stage in year one will be to actually sit down with the health profession students to find out about their experiences of delirium. What education have they had? What has been good? Where have the limitations been? So that whatever we're developing meets the needs of this group of people. And the third thing we're going to do in year one is we're going to develop a survey, a Delphi survey it's called, and we're going to try to get some consensus from health profession students, from professionals who work in delirium care, and also patients and family members who've experienced delirium. And what we're going to do is we're going to find out what are the key priority areas for education based on the expertise of these groups. We're going to take all that information that we've got from year one, and we're going to bring all that information then to what we call a co-design group. And that co-design group will be a virtual group from people from the north and the south of Ireland. And they'll be people, again, who've experienced delirium, family members who've experienced delirium, members of the public, nursing students, pharmacy, dentistry, medical students, health professional students in general, and colleagues with expertise in delirium. We're going to run through a series of workshops over the course of a few months and really develop the content from a high level, top level, down to the minutiae and the really important detail. What we'll have at the end of that process is something that is being developed strongly based on the evidence from year one, but also informed by Irish expertise in delirium.
Cooperation, the international dimension.
With the collaboration with the island, it is an example of how we can co-design resources between two universities, and it is a great starting point for other universities to follow as a model to co-design resources with students, not just within their own university, but across institutions.
In the last 6 months of the project, that's where the exciting bit is going to happen. We will take this co-developed resource and we're going to not only implement it into universities in Ireland, but we're also going to evaluate it to make sure that it is doing what we want it to do. So it will be implemented in Queen's University and the University of Limerick, which are the two leading organisations working on this project. On one hand, we're going to be looking to see, does health professions' knowledge about delirium increase after getting the resource, the education? We hope so. Does health profession students' self-efficacy or their behaviour change? In other words, do they feel more empowered to be able to take what they've learned and apply it to their practice? And also, does this education actually make a difference to patients and people living with conditions? That's the end point. So we're going to be finding that out in some testing we'll be doing in the last 6 months. And hopefully our hope at Queen's and Limerick is that this project will be beneficial to health profession students' learning. It'll be good education, but also it'll be very important for their clinical practice. And if we see good results and improvements in these areas, we are hopeful then we'll be able to, after the project, begin to implement this programme or support implementation in other universities that offer health professions programmes in Ireland.
With thanks to Dr. Gary Mitchell and Dr. Amy Wong. For more in this series, visit our website go.qub.ac.uk/shaping-pod and follow us on social media @QUB Engagement. For the audio podcasts, search for Queen's University Belfast Shaping a Better World podcast on all the main platforms.